Now, in some other news we're tracking for you, court proceedings at the Senekal Magistrates Court in the Free State were disrupted yesterday by angry farmers who overturned and burned a police vehicle. The farmers were baying for the blood of two suspects who appeared in court in connection with the murder of farm manager Brandon Horner. The violence has been widely condemned by the police and by justice ministers as well. But let's speak to Popcru spokesperson, that's Richard Mamabolo. Richard, good morning. Thanks for your time. You saw some of the scenes unfolding there in Senekal yesterday. Your response there?
Yes, we are, of course, concerned about the disruptive behavior. We believe that despite the grievances that might be genuine around farm killings, we cannot have people taking the law into their own hands. You know, every South African has an inalienable right to protest, but this cannot be done in a manner that seeks to undermine the very same institutions that are aimed at defending the law. So we're quite worried about that. But again, we must say that, you know, farm killings and other forms of killings are given a priority, which is why in the last month we've seen the launch of the National Rural Safety Strategy, which is aimed to establish joint rural safety command centers that would ensure that food security is prioritized and ensure that agricultural activities also operate safely. So there have been outcries within both ways, where there would be outcries about farm killings, but also there are still outcries about the abuses of farm workers. We think that there is something that needs dialogue and needs to be resolved urgently for the sake of ensuring that food security is prioritized. So I think one of the things that we were quite worried about is the fact that police were supposed to have been commended for the work they did in ensuring that the speedy arrest of those who are suspects. But the manner in which they were treated, we think it's quite unfair. And of course, we believe that those who perpetrated such acts should obviously be accountable.
Richard, another issue certainly that has become a talking point was the handling by police of that protest, that violent protest action that erupted in Senekal. When the big discussion now is that when black South Africans protest, there is seemingly no hesitation to resort to water cannons, to tear gas, to rubber bullets. In some cases, we've seen live ammunition as well, whereas this was very, very different, a very, very different handling by the police.
Most definitely. I think, but we have to consider as well that what happened yesterday was an ambush. Of course, there are such, views that have been coming out from society. That is why we're saying the action definitely needs to be taken, because it cannot be that when there are certain people who are seen to be from a higher economic standing, they are treated in a different way as compared to those who would be from poorer backgrounds. So it is quite a worry. It creates some form of impression that there are divisions, there is a different action for different societies within our country, and that cannot be tolerated, because the law should apply equally to everyone, and everybody everybody should obviously abide by the law. No one can be seen to be above the law in this instance.
And, Police Minister Becky Cele has now come forward and joined the discussion to say that arrests should be made with regard to the violence in Senekal yesterday. Why were those arrests not made yesterday, on the scene?
Look, sometimes police cannot make immediate arrests due to obviously the pressures of the time, and of course, like I said, it was an ambush. It was clearly an ambush. I don't think anybody had anticipated that it would turn out in the way it did. In fact, it was just for some seen as people coming to demonstrate their frustrations, which is their democratic right, of course. But the manner in which happened, of course, you would remember that there were obviously limited police at the station, and we know that the SAPS then had to call for backup. However, it's quite unacceptable that we have such occurrences taking place on a regular basis, but it does not as well make it right for those who are protesting to then believe that they can take the law into their own hands. That is why we're saying that those who did wrong obviously should definitely be punished for it.
All right, well, thanks very much for your time. Richard Mamabolo is spokesperson for police union Popcru, as we continue to track the protest action that unfolded in Senekal just yesterday.